I would say first off, customs. This is one area that foreign investors often face difficulties when they first enter the market. This may be due to unfamiliarity with the local import requirements and procedures. Thankfully, with AEC, the situation is broadly speaking improving. Labor is another area of difficulty. In a number of Southeast Asian countries, the governments have adopted pro-employee policies, and labor relations can be difficult if there are powerful unions. Worker rights are sometimes intertwined with politics, and populist policies from the ruling government may sometimes present challenges to companies with a sizable local workforce. Another area is foreign exchange and capital controls. Unlike the EU, where there is a common currency across most member states, in ASEAN, each country maintains its own domestic currency. Except for open economies such as Singapore, a number of Southeast Asian countries still institute foreign exchange and capital controls. Often, companies have found ways to comply with these laws and regulations, even though administratively they can be cumbersome. Finally, dealing with regulators. In a developing country, the capacity of the civil service can be more limited, and companies may encounter difficulties with various regulatory bodies. Again, this is something that an experienced legal advisor can step in to assist and facilitate. One should also be mindful of corruption risks, and it's therefore important for local employees to be alive to such risks when dealing with regulators and the local government. Well, I should say that the challenges that one faces with developing economies in Southeast Asia are not particularly unique. You see these issues coming up generally in most developing countries. As a start, communication issues can arise. And we have seen instances where a foreign employee from a non-English speaking jurisdiction is seeking to communicate in English with a government official who is also not particularly conversant in English. Misunderstandings can therefore arise. In other instances, you have government officials who may not have private sector experience and therefore do not have a good understanding of local business realities. I've also seen cases where the company did not make sufficient preparations before meeting the regulator. Now, this is important if you are seeking regulatory approval for a business that is new to the country or is seeking to launch a new product or service which has not been previously approved. There's been cases where bribes are solicited. And in spite of improvements and push for stronger enforcement in a number of Southeast Asian countries, our clients do sometimes face such requests. Frustrations can also arise from the speed of regulatory approvals. Red tape and bureaucracy can be an unwelcome aspect to doing business in the less developed markets. Overall, however, we've generally been seeing improvements in regulatory timelines, and this is particularly encouraging for foreign investors. First and foremost, preparation is vital. It is important for foreign investors who is new to the country to understand the local market, the operating environment, as well as the laws and regulations. Enlisting the help of experienced professional advisors is also critical. Good advisors can often help you navigate the regulatory hurdles and provide practical solutions to the difficulties one might encounter. It is also vital to understand the local culture and practices. Foreign investors often fail to appreciate this important aspect, even if one is not seeking to undertake a joint venture with a local partner. If one is prepared to invest the time to get a good grasp of the local circumstances, that will pay dividends over the long term.
With over 650 fee earners in 10 countries, this is our home ground, our advantage. Lawyers who know Asia. Rajah Tann Asia.